All right, I am going to do a quick demo of doing those bases that you're doing an impression in. The reason why I'm doing this is because the couple that were finished, they were too thick and they dried out too quickly and they cracked. So I want to do a demo on this. One, you guys really need to pay attention to how thick your clay is. Obviously you don't want to go too thin or you're going to have some issues, but obviously if you go too thick, you're going to have even more issues. So when you do this and you're rolling out your clay, make sure that you're actually picking it up and throwing it down in the opposite direction. It's going to help that. Okay, you can kind of see how thick that is. That's maybe 1/4 of an inch. That's what you want to go with. Now, because I don't have any nature-based items in here, we're going to use one of these little dollies to roll into your clay. Okay, roll it into where you know that it is embedded. Now, when you're doing the grasses and weeds from outside, you don't have to pull these up. Okay, but I'm going to because I want to keep the fabric. Okay, and I'm just going to roll them everywhere because I want the whole entire piece to have texture. Now remember, you're doing yours in grasses and things like that. So if you were one of the ones that did your piece before you left, I would go ahead and plan on making another. And it doesn't take very long. You just need to really concentrate on the thickness of your clay. Okay, first thing you're going to do when you get done with that is you are going to cut the bottom. Okay, we need to have a flat section for the bottom. Okay, we want it to be as nice and even as possible, so hopefully you have your needle tool. Let me see if I can find one real quick because mine's not working very well. We'll just use this. Okay. You want to make sure that this is a smooth cut with whatever it is that you're using. Now, with your piece, you want to make sure that it is leather hard. So when you pick it up, that it's not falling all over itself. Okay, so when you bring this over, that it's going to stay. And then what you're going to do is on the inside, you're going to hold it on the outside, and then you're going to blend it on the inside. Because we want to leave this as organic as possible. Now, if your clay is falling over, it is too wet. You can't do anything with it yet. So you can leave it flat for maybe 10-15 minutes, see if it will harden up a little bit. If you don't like the way your top looked, I didn't really care for mine. I liked it a little bit more rough. Okay, and then we're going to use this extra stuff. Let me put this over here. Now, as you see, mine is not falling over, so I'm able to keep it straight up. And then this little section is going to be my base. Okay, once again, there's the thickness of it. Okay, I'm going to take my vase, lay it right on top so that I know that it's fitting. See how you see where it's fitting on there? Okay. Let's see if I can get that a little tighter. I'm going to come back around and I'm going to cut around my base portion. Don't get too violent with it. Okay. Now, the bottom should stay, and then you can come back with your fingers and blend that away. Okay. Now, this is still very flimsy. You probably are going to have to take and score and put some slip or water in there, whatever you have, and blend. Okay. This is very lightweight now. Okay. So you can kind of see how this looks. You can see the thickness of the piece. All right, and see how this is not really thick? Sorry. See how that's really not thick enough? Or it is thick enough. But the ones that were made before you left, that section has collapsed and has sadly fallen off. So like I said, pretty much all of you are going to have to remake this. And this is the texture piece. And this is still very fragile. But it is a leather hard, soft leather hard, where you can still blend it. And it's okay if your edges have tears in it. That kind of gives it a really neat effect. Okay, but make sure that you're covering that all up with the weeds and textures that you're gonna find. And you can even use rocks. I'm just kind of worried about you guys getting these way too thick. And I think the reason why I didn't notice it before is because we were kind of in a rush. So that is that part